Today, we are diving into a really powerful story. It all starts with, of all things, a little confrontation at a buffet. Seriously, a single comment about a plate of food ends up becoming this incredible lesson on waste, on responsibility, and this is the best part, how one tiny idea can actually create huge change.
Okay, so picture this. You're at a hotel, maybe getting breakfast, and you just hear that. This sharp, angry voice cutting through the noise. We are dropped right into the middle of a super tense moment. A line has been drawn, and believe it or not, it's all about what's on one kid's plate.
So here's the setup. There's a young girl, her name is Artie, and she sees another kid loading up his plate at the buffet. He takes like 2 bites, leaves the whole thing, and goes back for more. So she points it out, and, well, you can probably guess what happens next. The boy's mother, who's a tourist, is not happy. Not happy at all.
And right here, you can see the two sides just clashing. On one side, you've got Artie, who is genuinely bothered by watching all this food go to waste. But on the other side, you have a mom who feels like her kid is being attacked, and she lashes out, right? She tells Artie's mom to teach her daughter some manners and even calls her horrible. It's just a textbook example of good intentions causing a really awkward fight.
Okay, this is the moment everything changes. Artie's mother, who the story calls Mama, she steps in, and she does something brilliant. She apologizes, to calm things down, but she doesn't back down on the main point. She calmly says, "My daughter isn't horrible, and what she said was correct." And with just that one sentence, this stops being a silly fight about manners and starts being a real conversation about what's right and wrong.
So after they walk away from all that drama, the real lesson starts. The story moves away from that one angry tourist and zooms out to look at the much, much bigger picture. It's about that universal idea that got Artie so upset in the first place, the hidden cost of all this waste. And this is the question Artie asks her mom. It's so simple, but it's also incredibly deep, isn't it? Why do people waste food? I mean, it's a question I think a lot of us have wondered about. We all kind of know it's wrong, so why does it happen so much? Mama's first answer is just wow. It's so powerful. She doesn't frame waste as just, being clumsy or careless. She calls it what it is, an act of disrespect. It's not just about the food you're throwing away. It's about disrespecting the farmer, the cook, every single person who worked hard to get that food to the buffet. And it turns out, Artie's strong feelings about this come from her own experience. She remembers doing a school project where they had to grow potatoes, and she learned firsthand that food isn't just food. It's made of all these precious things: water, good soil, tons of daily care. And that's when it clicked for her. These aren't just potatoes, they're national resources. So you see, Artie isn't saying people shouldn't eat or enjoy the buffet. Her thinking is way smarter than that. Her conclusion is basically this. Yeah, we can totally use these resources, but we have to do it with zero waste. It's such a simple but powerful idea to live by.
And this leads us to a really fascinating question about strategy. When you see something you think is wrong, what's actually the best way to get it to change? Should you just call it out right there on the spot like Artie did? Or is there a better way?
So you have these two different approaches sitting side by side. Artie's method is direct confrontation. Boom. Mama suggests a more subtle way. Just lead by your own actions. Don't waste food yourself. Because, as she says, people learn by watching you. Both methods make sense, right? But this conversation leads them to a third, even cooler option.
This, right here, is where the story gets absolutely brilliant. What if you didn't have to choose between calling someone out and just, hoping they notice you being good? What if you could actually change the system itself so that it just naturally nudges people to do the right thing? Mama reminds Artie about a wedding they went to that had this incredibly simple but genius solution. Instead of giving everyone these giant plates, the buffet just offered small bowls. Think about it. It's basic psychology. People tend to fill whatever container they're given. So with small bowls, guests just naturally take less food. They can always go back for more if they're still hungry, but the end result? A huge drop in the amount of food being wasted. It's not about shaming anyone, it's a systemic fix. It's just brilliant.
So now Artie is armed with this amazing new insight, and this is where the story all comes together. She gets it now. It's not just about pointing out what's wrong. It's about coming up with solutions, and she doesn't waste any time putting that new knowledge into practice. As her family is checking out of the hotel, Artie grabs one of those feedback forms, but she doesn't write a complaint about the rude tourist or her son.
Nope. Instead of leaving an angry note, she offers a simple, constructive, and brilliant solution that she knows from experience actually works.
And then, just as they're about to leave, the story comes full circle. The hotel manager actually comes over to talk to them. It turns out he saw the whole thing happen earlier, but here's the kicker. He didn't think Artie was being rude. He thought she was being brave. He and his staff felt the exact same way about food waste, and they were impressed that she had the courage to say something. And to prove it, the manager gives Artie a gift hamper. It's not really a prize, it's more like a thank you. It's this perfect validation that, yeah, speaking up was the right thing to do, but proposing a solution, that was even better. It's just this moment of pure joy, earned by doing the right thing in a really smart way.
And that brings us to the final question for you. We all see things that are wasteful or inefficient in our own lives, right? At work, at school, maybe even at home. This story shows us the question isn't just what's the problem. The better question is, what's the solution? So think about it. What is your small bowl solution? What's one simple, smart, systemic change you could introduce that might have a massive positive impact?